Hey guys, how's it going? Just finished the workout and I wanted to talk about mental health and in particular anxiety and panic attacks. A couple of days ago I had a panic attack. For those of you that aren't aware what this is or never experienced something like this, it's something that is not pleasant at all. At least for me, I can only speak for myself. I felt it as if like things are really coming in on me. Like I feel very constructed. My breathing was very difficult. I feel this really constructed sense of energy around my stomach, and almost like I was gasping for air. Like I wasn't able to inhale properly. And this happens because I was overwhelmed, overworked. Sometimes I have flaws in my routine, whether I didn't meditate or I didn't sleep enough or didn't do properly my morning routine, didn't do any breathing. For whatever reason, it came to me, and that was one of those days where I wasn't on my A game and it just caught up to me. Now, why am I saying this? Well, I have a lot of friends, both men and female, that have something like this have happened to them before. And generally what I found is that women are much better at coping with these things. They can go and consult female friends. They're much more open about their emotions, their feelings, etc., etc. Whereas for us as guys, there's a lot of pride, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. We usually tend to put the shield up. We don't talk about this stuff. And it's really time that we actually start having these conversations. And as difficult as this may be, it's really, especially now when we're isolated, people can be feeling things like that. So it's important to talk about it. So number one is I'm trying to bring more awareness about this. Because I found that whenever you bring awareness to something, you can start poking holes at it. You can try to reverse engineer it, try to understand it, be less fearful about it, and see, okay, if I was to do this, maybe it's going to prevent that, etc., etc. Especially for us as men, there's so much challenges that we are facing, especially when it comes to mental health, rising rates of suicide, etc., etc. So definitely bring a lot more awareness to this. Number two is really try and go consult someone, speak to someone in complete confidentiality. I happen to be very fortunate enough. I have very good network of friends around me, masculine guys who are developed for their own journey, who are striving to become their better selves, that I can go and without shame or guilt talk to them, even though I still experience shame and guilt on a daily basis sometimes. But if you maybe don't necessarily have this environment, or you are less fortunate to have friends like this, what I can suggest is do a men's circle. Come to a circle that we organize at Men with Purpose every Friday. DM me if you're interested in something like this. Complete confidentiality is something that I found to be the most effective tool that I can use, especially when something like this is happening. It's it's really confidential, and you'd be surprised how you open up, especially when there are other friends or even complete strangers, even better. When something like this happens, dude, really trust me on this one. And you don't have to do it with me. There's other people that do men's circles. Just go and do something like that. You'd be surprised at the results. And number three is really try to stay an observer. Whenever these feelings, let's call them, arise up, well, especially for me, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. I'm a tough guy. I'm doing a lot of meditation, breath work, I'm coaching, all these kind of things. Guess what? Things are going to caught up to you. And chances are that there's going to be a day where you won't be able to cope up by yourself. And I found that if you try to stay on, and this obviously comes with a bit of training, try to stay observer of all these kind of emotions, not necessarily jumping into those and start experiencing them. It really does help. Especially when it's like these low level, low frequency and vibration feelings, you really want to stay away from that. And do something in your body. I did some breath work, I did some bioenergetic, but I shake and try to get into my body, because most of the times, problem is, we're too much in our heads. I'm definitely guilty of that. I tend to overthink things, especially if I'm not going out, if I'm not working out. These are not excuses. I take full responsibility. It's my responsibility to work out. It's my responsibility to keep things in check. But guess what? It doesn't always happen. And I try to do the best I can. But so there's other things that you can do, obviously. But try to stay away, especially for me, guilt and shame, very big one. And I want to read you a passage so I can finish this video by a book that I'm reading right now called Reality Transurfing. And something that really struck a chord with me that I think is really important. So, rulers and leaders have a very poorly developed sense of guilt, or do not ever experience feelings of guilt at all. Brave people are never tormented by it, and seldomly have this feeling of guilt. They have nothing to fear because their inner judge has already declared that they're in their right. The key to personal dignity is the absence of guilt. So that's it for me, guys. If you do have any questions, by all means, I would love to hear what your experience has been like. If you want to come to one of these men's circles, completely free, completely confidential.